This is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank here on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160. And it is time now for another interview segment brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. As we've been talking about in our newscast today, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection's Environmental Quality Board ruled in favor of moving forward with Governor Wolf's order to force Pennsylvania to join the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, and some state leaders are disappointed, and some other organizations also expressing some disappointment with that decision yesterday. And hopefully I have everything right so that we can have on the line right now State Representative Jim Struzzi. Jim, good morning. Jim, you there? All right. I think we also have Rachael Gleason on the line. Rachael, are you there with us this morning?
I am. Good morning. Okay,
let me see if we can, I'm going to put you on hold real quick here, Rachael. And, okay. And Rachael, you should still be there. I'm going to try to get a hold of Jim Struzzi. But while I do that, why don't you talk about the position? You're with Power PA Jobs Alliance. Let's talk about what happened and what the reaction was whenever that decision came down yesterday from the EQB.
Well, ultimately, the decision was not unexpected. The Environmental Quality Board is stacked with gubernatorial appointees, so we fully anticipated that the EQB was going to vote the regulation forward just because they're aligned with what the governor wants. But essentially, yes, the regulation went in its final rulemaking in front of the EQB, which is one of the steps in the regulatory process. So at this point now, the EQB will have to remit that regulation to our Independent Regulatory Review Commission and the House and Senate Environmental Resources and Energy Committees for their review. That's the next step.
All right, so a lot of things going on with that. Let's see now if we can get a hold of Jim Struzzi. Let's see if we can get him on the line with us right now. Jim, good morning. Jim, you with us? Okay, we're apparently having a little bit of a problem with Jim's phone there, so we're gonna try to get him in the next path of this segment. So, Rachael, obviously, Power PA Jobs Alliance really thinking about the people of the communities that are being affected by this, and the fact that a lot of the jobs at the power plants are going to probably go by the wayside if RGGI goes through, because a lot of these smaller plants won't be able to pay those carbon taxes that have been talked about.
Yeah, that's correct, and especially in Indiana and Armstrong County. You know, Keystone, Conemaugh, and Homer City will probably be the main plants that are impacted the most by this tax. They just won't be able to keep their doors open with paying what is, essentially a tax on the carbon dioxide that they emit. And it will also impact a lot of Pennsylvania's older natural gas plants as well that won't be able to compete in what is called our PJM Regional Transmission Organization. And, ultimately, RGGI does not make sense for Pennsylvania because we are an energy exporter. We create energy for other states to use. So the states that are in RGGI don't actually produce energy. They just take it from places like Pennsylvania. So the result will be West Virginia and Ohio giving up all of their generation.
Okay. All right, thanks. I know that this segment has been brief, but Rachael, thank you very much. We appreciate the input that Power PA Jobs Alliance has had, and please keep us posted as to further announcements coming from the group concerning RGGI.
Sure will. Thank you much.
Thank you. All right, let's go over to line 2 now, and we're going to try once again to try to get a hold of Jim Struzzi here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. We're talking about what happened yesterday with the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, and we've been gauging reactions all morning long. Jim Struzzi did issue a statement earlier today about this, and I believe that we have him on the line. Jim, are you with us right now? Okay, let's plug you in. There we go, Jim. We finally got it going. I apologize about that, sir.
That's all right.
So, Jim, obviously, you expressing disappointment along with your comrade, Senator Pittman, to the vote yesterday. Did you expect it?
Unfortunately, yes, I did, Josh. This is sort of a farcical process that they're going through. These boards now are basically, appointed by the governor. They are part of his administration for the most part. They're moving this forward essentially what would almost seem like behind closed doors, despite everything that's been voiced in opposition and concern over the economic impacts, the job losses related to RGGI, the increased electrical costs, the loss of manufacturing jobs and energy production jobs. All these factors that have been stated seem to fall on deaf ears. And these boards continue to move forward at a time when we're not even in session right now in Harrisburg. When people are on vacation, it's July. No one was allowed to attend the hearing yesterday. Or it's just, to me, I can't understand why they continue to do this when so many people, so many organizations, I know you just had Rachael on from the Coal Alliance, are voicing concerns. And the statistics show that there's going to be an impact on all Pennsylvanians. You know, that the top 4 states in this country with the highest electrical rates are RGGI states. Mm-hmm. And still, we continue to move forward and ignore all these facts. So to me, that's very frustrating, very short-sighted, and dangerous to this Commonwealth.
Obviously, there's some legislation moving through. It passed the Senate, I believe, and it's going to be taken up by the House to prohibit a governor from implementing a RGGI initiative here in Pennsylvania or any sort of initiative along those lines. What's going to be the progress of that? Obviously, the House is in recess now, but I assume that when it comes back into session, this will be first on the mark.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a top priority. Senator Pittman's bill, I believe it's Senate Bill 119, and my companion bill, House Bill 637, will most likely both move this fall, probably Senator Pittman's bill first. And essentially, you know, they're not questioning the merits of RGGI. They're questioning the process. And if RGGI is going to be so good for Pennsylvania as the governor has claimed, then let us vet that through the General Assembly. Let us have a discussion about that on the House floor. Let us speak for the people who elected us to go to Harrisburg and represent them. And by circumventing the process, those discussions are not occurring. And that again is very disheartening and it's quite alarming to me that they continue to push this forward without having these frank discussions about all of the impacts of RGGI, good or bad. Let us have that discussion, and the way they're going about this process, that's not occurring. And so, yes, I believe when we're back in session here, you'll see those bills move.
State Representative Jim Struzzi joining us right now here on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. So what was approved yesterday was final form rulemaking, and it was been called milestone in helping Pennsylvanians get one step closer to the combating the ills of climate change. I was quoting DEP Secretary Patrick McDonnell. But obviously the financial, and this is something that has been touched on a lot, financial impacts are going to be felt throughout the community. And you don't know for sure if the environmental impact is going to be good. And again, you've also quoted you've also said that the process to have Pennsylvania join RGGI was flawed by the fact that it circumvented the Pennsylvania Congress. So do you think, and we know that Senator Pittman's bill passed with a veto-proof margin, do you think that could be the same in the House once things get back rolling?
That will be determined. I know a number of my colleagues from the other side of the aisle are realizing the concerns with RGGI are very real. And they're hearing it from their constituents across this Commonwealth, because you have the trade unions that are concerned with their jobs. You have manufacturers that are concerned with their industries, because the electric generation costs are going to increase so dramatically. And that's one of your top expenses in any business is your electrical energy costs. So they're starting to hear it from people all over this Commonwealth that, what is the balance here? All the environmental discussions aside, what is the best energy policy for Pennsylvania? And I don't think that it's RGGI. There are other technologies out there that we can use to reduce our carbon emissions without punishing industries like the coal-fired electric generation plants that we have here in Indiana County. And to me, that's the kind of view that we need to have. This should be something that we all work together on without punishing one industry to benefit another.
State Representative Jim Struzzi, thank you very much for joining us to talk about this, to give your reactions. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, Jim Struzzi of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning. Also, Rachael Gleason joining us a little earlier this hour from Power PA Jobs Alliance. And our interviews brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people.